Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Floodlights Camera Action, your home for the weekly reaction to latest films and football. From Charlie Austin to Charlie Hunnam, we'll cover the lot. I'm Jack, but podcast zones because it's co-host, so every week, most weeks anyway, I'll be joined by my good friend Veronica to dissect all things film and football. Veronica, how are you?
Most weeks?
Well,
Are
we
you
did miss
kicking me
that
out or
1 week.
something?
No, we did miss that 1 week. No, I mean, I wasn't inferring that you're leaving.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
you're the heart and soul of this podcast. I'm just the.
You also forgot Charlie XCX in your intro. You should have gone even further.
Can I very quickly touch on that?
Okay.
This
I don't
very,
want to
very
hear your
quick.
opinion if you didn't like it.
So I'm very late behind the trends.
And
Kind of
straight.
the last week or so. Yeah, that too. Depends who you are. Anyway, I listened to
Whoa.
Brat for the first time about a week and a half ago, and I loved it.
Yes!
Yeah,
Yes!
I think it's not a perfect album. I gave it like an 8 out of 10, but I think the first half is considerably better than the second half as well. But
I have the vinyl special edition, by the way.
did we talk about that?
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
And also,
Cool.
I will be getting the remix album vinyl because I don't know if you've listened to the remixes. They are completely different to the originals.
Yeah, I've listened to a few. My favorite that I've listened to is. So I'm a huge fan of the Strokes. It's my favorite ever band.
I love the Strokes.
Do you?
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that. That's cool. Anyway, my favorite of the remixes is Mean Girls featuring Julian Casablancas. A big fan of the Voids as well.
I saw them live
Oh my
at a
god, how
festival.
did I know this?
Yeah.
That's very cool.
I have actually really funny story really quickly. I was
Go on.
there with my friend and we took this funny picture of the Voids being in the background of the picture and then my phone showing the Champions League final because it was during the Champions League final like last year. So there's a picture of me holding my phone like pretending like that I'm watching the Champions League final while the Voids are playing. It's quite funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of my favorite ever songs is "Leave It in My Dreams" by the Voids. I think it's just such a fucking amazing song. And "Human Sadness" is great as well. But anyway, yeah, I really enjoyed. I've not listened to the full. What's the full title of that remix album? Brat, but it's completely different, but still Brat, whatever it
Yep.
is.
Yes.
Brat remix album. I've not listened to all of it. I didn't
I need to get on
love
vinyl.
the Talk Talk remix. So my two favorite tracks off of the original album were Talk Talk and Von Dutch.
Yeah,
That
that's
whole
pretty good.
first half of the album, is just exceptional. But anyway,
No,
less about
not
Brat.
anyway, because
Okay, do you want to keep going?
I want to talk about my favourite tracks of Brat. What the hell?
Okay, go on. Yeah, let's have Brat chat.
Okay,
Brat chat.
to be honest, I love them all. But if I had to pick, like it changes every day. Right now, because I'm listening to the remix album a lot, out of the remixes, I really like the 365 remix with Shy Girl, and my mum likes that one as well.
I was a big fan of "Sympathy as a Knife" as well.
Yeah, and you know
The
what? I
original.
actually like the remix. It's a bit
It's got
Marmite,
Ariana Grande on it, hasn't it?
but I actually like the remix.
Start
And
of upcoming Wicked film.
yeah, I'm not seeing that. Uh, and I also liked the remix to Club Classics.
I hate that remix.
The thing is,
I
though,
love
I
the
listened to it
song,
first
but
time
I
and I
hate the
hated
remix.
it, and then I listened to it a few times. I'm like, wait, I kind of like it, but I'd say, oh yeah, and also the Everything Is Romantic remix of Caroline Polachek.
Mm.
She mentions
Can
East
I tell
London,
you?
so
So I love the band Blossoms. So I think "Foolish Loving Spaces," their album from 2019, is one of the best of the last 10 years, in my opinion. They covered 360 with Rick Astley
I
and
think I
BBC
saw
Radio
the
1 Live the
video.
Lounge. It
Yeah.
is one of the best live lounge sessions I've ever heard. It's so good. It goes in places you just wouldn't think it will go, and then Rick Astley pops up because Rick Astley, they Blossoms and Rick Astley do like almost like a cover band of the Smith songs. They did it at
Mhm.
Glastonbury 2 years ago, maybe a year ago. That's really good. Any other last thoughts on Brat before we move on?
Yeah, I just want to quickly say, Charlie, can we please get a remix to Hello Goodbye? Because I've been listening to that recently, like off the additional tracks album, bonus tracks album, or whatever. And I've been listening to that a lot, and it didn't get a remix, like the only song not to get a remix. So can we get on that, please? If you're listening,
Yeah, I'm sure Charlie is a
get
huge
someone good
fan
on that, please.
of the
All right.
podcast. But before we move on, we do have to apologise because we lied in last week's episode. We said there'd be a bonus episode out. that bonus episode. Well, you're listening to it now because we're recording it as we normally do on the normal episode. So in future, we won't make promises we can't keep. But in fairness, the idea of it was good. We did mean well. We just didn't, what's the word? Execute on that promise. But anyway,
it was a scheduling issue because we both
yeah,
have very busy lives.
we're super
But
duper
we
busy.
will put the audience a bit higher up in priorities in future. And
Will we? Oh, I thought we were going to just leave them. Oh, fuck them. I mean, oh no, it's made the cut. Oh no. No, joking. We love the audience.
We obviously care a lot about you guys. And the parasocial relationship you have with us is very real. So please keep listening.
See, that's how Veronica's a professional broadcaster here. I'm very much not. But we are going to catch you up on what we've been watching recently. We're not going to do any boring football chat because football is boring and there's nothing to talk about. I don't want to talk about Thomas Tuchel taking England job because that's sick, but there's nothing there. So we're going to talk it more in depth this time. We've both seen 11 films since the last episode. 11. So we can do a few films at a time.
11 players on a football pitch, by the way. Just saying.
Exactly.
We did it on purpose. We're playing a football match against each other. We have 11 on the pitch, 11 films on the pitch for 11. Whoa.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I don't have anything to add to that. Anyway, Veronica, name me a couple of films you've seen and your thoughts on them recently.
Okay, we're going to go a little bit, I'll say a few, you say a few. So I will be going in, we're probably going to be going in different orders because we always order stuff differently. I order mine from least recent to most recent.
That's what I've done this week. I normally do like kind of bad to good, but I thought for this one it makes more sense to do it chronologically.
Yeah, I always do chronologically because I feel like it spoils the fact that the next film you say is going to be better than the last one you said. It's too spoilery.
It feels like a dig about my broadcasting skills.
Well, anyway, so the what's the opposite of latest? The oldest? It's not the oldest though, is it? The least recent?
Most recent.
The least recent.
What film did you see, Veronica?
Okay. Yeah, let's wrap. Whoa, let's not wrap this up. Let's wrap it down.
Well,
let's
let's
wrap it out. Let's unwrap. Let's unwrap. Let's start unwrapping. All right.
Let's untie. Let's put the wrapping paper in the bin bag. And let's cook.
Yes. Okay. So first film, I watched The Gutter. It's called The Gutter, and I want to give a shout out to BFI because I guess I was invited, but the podcast was invited, and I was representing us because I live in London.
I was given the same offer, but I stupidly didn't take it up. So Veronica was our representative.
I begged.
Yeah.
I basically begged, but it worked. So I was invited to a press screening of this film. Thank you very much, BFI, because we are a sports and film podcast, so we are experts in sports and film. And guess what? This was a sports film. It was a sports film, which is what we always talk about. The sport in question is bowling, which we obviously know a lot about, which is why we were invited to give an in-depth...
You're any good at bowling?
No, I'm actually rubbish, to be honest.
God, that'd be the worst match of all time.
I'm really bad. Like, really bad. Anyway, gave it 3 stars. But I did like it. I did enjoy it.
I bet the director is gutted about that.
Actually, 2 directors. I think they're brothers or something.
They're both gutted.
Yeah, they're both gutted. The gutter? Gutted?
Yeah, that was the pun I was going for, Veronica.
Nice.
That was the pun.
Alright, oh well. I just realised.
Kid.
Yeah, I gave it 3 stars. I thought it was fun. Like, it was fun. Like, it was a fun time. It wasn't like I regretted watching it, or I was ungrateful for watching it, or I was like, I could have stayed home. Like, it was a fun time. Basically, it's about this guy called Walt, who is unemployed, and he looks for a job. He gets a job at the bowling alley. And then there's this, like, big problem because the bowling alley is suddenly threatened by a building inspector who is played by Adam Brody. He's there for, like, one scene as the building inspector.
Can I just ask quickly?
Yes.
What kind of... I know you said it was a sports film, but is it, like, pure sports, or is it, like, comedy, or what? Because it sounds like they're like the Big Lebowski or something.
Yeah, it's like a sports comedy kind of film. So then the bowling alley threatened to shut down by this inspector, and Walt, who has like never played never done bowling before, him and this ex-pro bowler woman who is now a big alcoholic and hangs around a bowling alley. They go play bowling. He's like insanely good. He gets a strike every time he throws the ball. And they're like, "Fuck, you need to be a pro bowler. You're so good." So then she's his manager. They go on this massive tour across America, doing pro bowling and earning money to get enough money to save the bowling alley. They get like sponsors and like all this stuff, and like they have rivals around America, and like they get news coverage on the bowling news network and stuff. It is a comedy, like it is funny, right? Like the point of it is to just be funny because it's bowling, and they're you know on this massive pro bowling tour. Like everything is very much made to seem more like bigger than it is. Like it's kind of treated like this crazy famous sport or whatever. Like it is kind of funny. And then I'm not going to spoil the whole plot. Obviously, I'm not going to tell you what happens if he becomes the best bowler in the world or whatever. But I do recommend watching it when it comes out. I don't know where it will be. It might be on streaming or something at some point. I think Shamik Moore gives a really good comedic performance, and I've
He's the
never
guy that
seen him.
voices
Miles
Miles
Morales.
Morales. Yeah.
Yeah, he is, and I've never seen him act like except for the voice acting for the Spider-Verse film. So I didn't know how good he was or if he was funny or anything, but actually I think he was probably the best part of the film. Like I thought he was really good at physical comedy and the way that he'd say his lines and stuff. Like his jokes landed probably more than anyone else's. Like I guess I'd recommend it. Like it is kind of like a dumb comedy sports film. It's just a dumb comedy about bowling. It is a bit hit and miss. Or should I say hit and strike? Wait,
No,
no.
hit and miss works. Hit and miss
Strike
works
and
actually.
miss. Strike and spare.
You could,
Ah, fuck. Oh
see, this is
god.
what you need to pre-prepare your
Oh
bowling
fuck.
puns because
Okay.
this is
Well, see,
embarrassing,
I
really.
improvised it in it. I fucked it up. Right. Anyway,
Oh yeah, if you want to hear more about improvisation, go
listen
back
to
to
our
This Is
Tom
My
Wilson
Role episode.
episode.
Exactly. Exactly.
Anyway, yeah. So it's a bit hit and miss with the jokes and bits, but I'd say overall it's quite a fun watch. Fun watch for all the family. Um, I think I'll probably talk about the next two films together, just because they're both horror films. Um, and the first one, well, actually, I guess the second film I'm talking about, but the first horror film, because obviously it's Horrortober. Everyone knows
Ooh.
that, and I love horror films. I watched Scream 2. I gave it 3 stars. I liked it, but I really enjoy slashers a lot. I thought the thing is, like, Jack doesn't like horror films. I know that. And I thought that I didn't like horror films for a really long time when I was younger and growing up. But then I grew up and I started watching them, and I was like, fuck it, I'm going right in the deep end. I'm just going to start watching horror films, and I'll see if I like them. I have to give them a chance. I can't just say I hate them for no reason. You can't hate a whole genre. That's just not possible.
Try me.
And
Try me. I can. I can
anyway,
and I will.
blah, 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 whatever. You're just immature. Anyway, I love the slasher genre. I found that that's one of my favorites to watch with other people. I think it's really fun. And I think it's still fun and entertaining to watch slashers even if they're bad. That's why they're good.
Can I just jump in quickly? Slashes
What?
are one of my exceptions. I don't
Okay.
mind it. I don't love them, but if I'm going to watch a
It's
horror
just
film, it will
fun.
be like Bodies was fine. I enjoyed that.
Have you seen
As the
Happy
original
Death Day?
Scream, no.
No, that's
Um,
so good.
but the original Scream's pretty good. So yeah, I don't mind a slasher.
Yeah, I like the original Scream a lot, which is why I probably will just watch one every year because why not? Like, I'm not going to watch them all at once, but I watched the second one this year. Probably watch the third one next year. It's October, so like I said, I will be watching quite a lot of horror because I love doing little themed watches. Like, October, horror, December, Christmas films. And I always like to watch new ones. Like, I don't just watch the same Christmas film every year. I watch completely new Christmas films every single year. I just think it's so
You should
fun.
talk to Catherine, our friend Catherine,
I
about
do talk
the
to
amount
Catherine.
of awful Christmas films she watches
Yeah,
around
but
that
she
time of
goes
year.
on Hallmark channel and picks the
The
ones that
thing
are
is,
literally the same thing reskinned.
I do respect it. I do respect her commitment to the bit.
I don't respect the Hallmark channel. That's
No,
my
I didn't say
statement,
I
actually.
didn't
I'm
say I
done with that
respect her.
statement.
So no, sorry, no, I do respect her. I don't respect The
Yeah,
Hallmark
we
Channel.
have beef with the Hallmark Channel from now.
Unless they want to sponsor us or something. Unless they're
Yeah,
bad
if you
people. Are they
sponsor
bad
me,
people?
I'll watch every single film.
Well, we'll go that
Well,
far. We'll go that far.
depends how much money.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway, Scream 2, it's basically Scream 1. But again, it happens again. And it works again. Because you know what? I knew exactly what I came for. It delivered exactly what I wanted. My favourite character, by the way, well, in Scream 2 anyway, is Gail Weathers. Because she's hot. And I'll probably watch Scream 3 this time next year. So stay tuned. In 365 days' time, there will be a Scream 3 review. Yes. Next film. Another horror film. It's a. I guess it's not. Well, it's definitely not a slasher. The Thing. I watched The Thing. I don't know if you've seen it. I don't think you've seen it.
No, it's got Kurt Russell in though. I like
Yeah,
Kurt
it
Russell.
does, and he's very cool in that film, and I love his hair.
He's the coolest man to ever live. He's up. He's in the conversation.
Maybe. Well, I will preface this with saying I was not looking forward to this film at all. Like, I will be honest, I was convinced to watch it, mainly because I've watched classic horror before, and it just hasn't worked for me in the past. Like, I've talked about some classic horror films I've seen, like Alien. Sorry, Mike.
Oh God,
Uh,
let's not bring that up again. I didn't mind
let's
Alien.
not talk about it. But yeah, I've seen classic horror in the past, and I've just come out disappointed, or like I think like that was so overrated, and people were just nostalgic for old horror films, even though they're rubbish and not scary, and the effects are bad and not in a good way, and like I'm just not into the plot or anything, or I feel like there's modern horror that's done this better since then. But, however, this film is amazing. It's actually incredible. Well, incredible is a strong word. I gave it 4 stars, which I think is really good.
I think that would constitute as close to incredible.
Not
So,
incredible. It was
no,
great.
not. I think Incredible's 4.5 and up, right?
Yeah. Maybe
Yeah.
even just 5. 4.5 is
Mm.
like amazing.
Yeah, my 4.5s are great. My 5s are perfect or personal favourite.
Yep.
Gotta be careful with the semantics. Anyway, let's not get bogged down in that.
Right. We could do a whole 5 episodes on ratings. To
Semantics
be
episode.
honest. Yeah. But anyway, is probably one of my favourite horror films. Definitely my favourite classic horror film I've seen. I will say that. I completely understand why people have given it higher. The plot is basically just like a group of guys being guys researching stuff in Antarctica. They discover some alien being, it unfreezes, goes crazy, it's like entering people and stuff, and they don't know who's affected and who isn't. And there's like it's just like a big mystery kind of thing. It's basically Among Us, I will say that. It is basically Among Us, and I've since then I've heard that the game was actually inspired by this film, and I had no idea. Kind of crazy, but yeah.
Am I right in saying John Carpenter directed The Thing?
Yes,
He did. Well,
yes,
that
he
links to
did.
one of my films later, as it also starred Kurt Russell. So stay tuned for that.
But okay, thanks. The story was engaging. The tension was there. It worked. The mystery was there, like I said. The acting, great. What I think is the biggest shock for me is that the practical effects are incredible in this film. And I've been disappointed by practical effects before, as we know already. Alien.
It looked
And,
like a big balloon in Alien.
well,
It looked
this
very
is
silly.
why this film is so impressive. What they did with it is the fact that
John
the
Carpenter's
effects have
quote.
aged so well.
Is it practical or is it VFX?
No, it's
You said-
practical.
Yeah, so
I've seen the behind the scenes and stuff. It's really good.
yeah, the I watched John Carpenter, I'll touch on later. That had like monsters type things in it as well, and the practical effects on that were absolutely incredible. It looked kind of stupid, but I think that was what they're going for. So yeah, good on John.
Yeah,
That's what he does.
and also, is he Sabrina Carpenter's dad?
I'll Google it, though. I doubt it, but
Okay.
I'll Google it.
Well, anyway, I definitely recommend this for anyone looking for horror films this October, especially if you want to watch an older one. I actually think you could watch it, Jack. Like, I know you don't like horror, but it's not like insanely scary or gruesome where you wouldn't be able to stomach it. I think you can watch it.
So a little thing on John Carpenter.
Is it
No,
her dad? Oh.
Sabrina Carpenter is not related to John Carpenter, but she is related to actress Nancy Cartwright, who voiced Bart Simpson on The Simpsons.
Yeah, but who cares about that? I wanted
That's
to
just
know
what
about
Google
John
AI is
Carpenter.
telling me.
Okay,
Um,
well, that's not fun. Let's
I'm tempted
pretend
to give
that
it a
is her
watch
dad.
around Halloween because it sounds
Her
good.
watch?
I will.
Oh, I thought you were talking about a Sabrina Carpenter watch. I was
No,
like,
no,
I
no,
was
no,
like,
no, no,
I
no.
thought you said you were tempted to buy one this Halloween. I was like, what the hell are you
Oh,
talking
sorry,
about?
I just can't speak. No, what I meant to say was I'm
You're tempted
tempted
to
to
watch
give it
it.
a watch.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
around
yeah. You
Halloween.
should. It's probably on some Amazon Prime or something.
Cool, perfect.
But yeah, that's my kind of first block of films. If you wanna go into yours now.
Yeah, I'll run with first block is kind of 4 films. So the first one I watched, it's been a bit of a mixed month by the way, so that's slightly disappointing, but still got half a month to go. First one I watched was a film called Duel, Duel, which is actually Steven Spielberg's uh, feature-length directorial debut. It's basically about this guy who's driving through some desert in America, and he gets chased and hunted by this lorry who is just trying to kill him, basically. It's a very effective thriller. However, it does get quite repetitive very quickly, and I'm glad it was only an hour and a half long because I think if it was any longer, it would get a very low score because it kind of ran out of steam. Funnily enough, um, yeah,
Do
it was
lorries
just
run on Steam?
um,
I
not
don't think
anymore.
so.
There was steam coming out of the lorry at one point, so that's
Hmm.
close. But no, I gave it 3 stars. It was just like fine. It's kind of towards the bottom of my Spielberg rankings, but like you can see like the way he moved the camera and positioned the camera was so Spielberg. Like he clearly knew what he was doing from the off. He was very young when he directed this, so yeah, it's just a pretty fine film. Then the next one I watched was fucking great. I gave it 4.5 out of 5. I finally got around to watching Furiosa, a Mad Max saga. Loved the original Mad Max. Loved this one, but not quite as much. I gave the original Mad Max a 5 stars. Um, it was amazing. Um, Veronica, I know you're a big fan of her, so I do want to quickly touch on Charlie Foster. Is that her name, Charlie Foster?
Yes, and
She is
I
having
tried to get her on the podcast by the way, and she ignored me.
a bitch. No, I'm joking. No, Charlie Foster is having one of the best 12 months of any actress I've seen. Bear in mind,
Anyone but you,
she had
shout out.
yeah, Anyone But You, which is a solid film, but did really well at the box office, I believe. And actually, it was one of the players that I coach. She has one of her favorite films is Anyone But You, which I found quite jarring. Because one of her other favorite films is Insidious, which is it's a very weird mix. But yeah. So I believe she was a model. I want to
Yeah,
say
and these are her first 2 roles ever,
the
which is
only acting credit she's
crazy. The only
ever
acting
got.
she's ever done.
She's an Australian model slash actress, and I really hope she's in more stuff because she was like pretty fine in Anyone But You, but I really, really, really loved her performance in Furiosa. Even though it was only a really small
Yeah,
part,
I
it was.
wish she was in it more. Like, there needs to be another spin-off of this
Yeah,
spin-off just with her. Like,
I
please,
think there's like she showed a
someone.
fair bit of range between her 2 performances as well.
Yeah,
Very different roles, but yeah, she did the emotion really well. She kind of did like the um, strong woman kind of role well. I thought she was great. I was a big fan of Tom Burke as Praetorian Jack. He was probably my favorite character in the film. I thought he was really great. I really brought into spoilers the romance between Praetorian Jack and Furiosa. I think it really worked. I think it did emotion better than Mad
I don't
Max.
think it worked.
All right, okay, well, that's fair. I bought into it. It wasn't perfect, but I did buy into it. Um, yeah, I think it did the emotion better, but I think towards the end of the film, it kind of ran out of steam a little bit in terms of like you got to the final 20, and it felt like it kind of skipped over things that I wanted to see more of. It kind of needed to be longer. I mean, they couldn't have made it longer really, but it kind of wanted to be. And then the ending was decent, but you kind of just got to it and went, yeah, okay. But on the whole, yeah, just a really good film. Not as kind of visceral, breakneck pacing as the first one, but yeah, just a really, really effective film. Actually, I was impressed with the performance of young Furiosa, uh, Alia Alia Brown, I believe her name is. She played the young version of Furiosa. Obviously, Anya Taylor-Joy played her when she was older, but between them, they did a really good job. So I was a big fan of that. Again, not quite perfect, but one I highly recommend and is in my top 10 of the year. Obviously, we'll go for our full rankings at the end of the year, but yeah, did well. Next
By the
one
way, our full
was.
rankings
Oh,
episode is going to be so fucking long because I've seen I think 64 films released in 2024
are we
so
doing
far.
full? Are we doing full rankings?
We're doing full ranking. We might have to split the episode into 3 or something,
Yeah, I've to
or into
34 so
2.
far.
We're
I
gonna have
to
to split it. We're
I had
gonna
to
have
unfortunately
to.
kick. I had to unfortunately kick Fallen Leaves out of the ranking because I didn't realize it came out last year.
Oh, okay.
I do mine on UK release dates, but
I
anyway,
do mine on
that's
whenever the fuck I watched it in cinema. But anyway,
you
let's move
don't
on.
play by the rules. Next one I watched was The Waterboy, which is a classic Adam Sandler comedy. Kind of crap, but like entertaining enough to give it a 2.5 out of 5. Got a few laughs out of me. There was some really, really awful blocking. It was basically a film about American football. Some really bad blocking, not as in camera blocking in terms of blocking from the offensive lineman. They just let the Waterboy just run through and sack the quarterback so many times. It was quite embarrassing actually to watch. I'm not a huge NFL fan, but I'm trying to get into it, and yeah, I feel like the offensive line should have done better. The tight ends needs to do better. Anyway, next film I saw, and the last of this block, was Charlie Wilson's War. This is a hour and a half long. I'm not sure what you'd call it really. I guess political drama, true story kind of thing. Starring Tom Hanks, Philip Seymour Hoffman, Julia Roberts, a couple of others. Got a really stacked cast actually. About kind of the funding of the Mujahideen in Afghanistan when the Soviets were going to war with Afghanistan and the impact it had. I thought it was again 2.5 out of 5. I thought it was fine. It didn't really break the mold, and it kind of just like glossed over the ending. The ending just it kind of just happens, and you go, "Oh, the film's done." It needed to be 2 hours long. The best part of it was Philip Seymour Hoffman, who I've been very vocal in that he is my favourite, and I believe he's the best actor of all time. He is just exceptional. There's a scene where he kind of keeps going in and out of a room because he's trying to meet with Tom Hanks's character, who's this like whiskey guzzling senator, but he keeps having to get kicked out of the room, and he just keeps coming back, and he's really great. Yeah, just kind of mid. But Veronica, what is your next block of films? What does that entail?
Yeah, so I have 2 films, 2 quite well different in almost every single way, but we'll go with 2. So the first film I saw was actually a documentary. I watched Will and Harper, which is new. It's on Netflix,
I've been
so
meaning to watch
anyone
that.
can watch it really if you have Netflix. It's not too long. I think an hour and a half. It's a road trip documentary. It's about Will Ferrell and his friend Harper Still, who used to write for SNL, and they met on set, I think, or backstage during SNL. And so Harper came out to him as a trans woman, kind of in a later stage in life, and they used this road trip across America to learn about each other's experiences and ask questions and rediscover the places that Harper found to be important to her earlier in life pre-transition, and kind of visit them again and see like what the difference is for her. Is very wholesome to watch. There's like so much love and genuine care and compassion between these two, best friends throughout the documentary. There are some like really beautiful moments of connection and understanding between, strangers that they meet and Harper. Um but there are also moments that will make you disappointed in how shitty people still are. Um
Can I just say,
yeah.
we've not. I'm not gonna say we've all said it, but like when we were younger, I think we've all, not all, but I know I made stupid comments when I was younger. About just people. Fuck transphobes. Just let people live. They're not harming anyone. It's just like this moral panic that you get in the media and from
It's
certain
used as a
members of
weapon.
society.
It's
Exactly. It's just
weaponized
like
as a political view and
it's just
belief,
they're
even though
just
it's not. It's not
this might be
political.
this might be the first C bomb dropped on the podcast. They are cunts. Fuck them. No, I'm really glad. I've not seen the documentary. I'm meaning to watch.
Yeah, you probably should. Like,
Um,
it's.
I
I think
will.
I recommend it to anyone. It's really,
I'm really
it's a really good
glad.
watch.
Um, they got to tell the story, and I'm really glad that seemingly Will Ferrell is as lovely as he comes across. Will Ferrell actually once went to a Portsmouth game. Fun fact, at
Wow.
Fratton Park. Yeah, I think he saw us beat Tranmere, and he saw Ben Close score goal of the season. So that's the full facet of Will Ferrell.
Yeah, like I haven't really been a massive fan of him as an actor, but after
Have you
watching
seen
it,
Talladega
I
Nights?
have respect for him as a human being, and I feel like that's more important.
Have you seen
And
Talladega Nights?
no, I will.
Go watch that. It's so
I
good.
will. I will. Do you get it? I will. I
Yeah, let's
will.
keep
Ferrell.
rolling. Let's
All
keep
right.
rolling.
So yeah, last bit on that documentary. Everyone should watch it. It's on Netflix, so you have no excuse not to. And trans rights are human rights, like I've said before, and it's not
Absolutely,
a political belief.
absolutely.
It is a moral stance
It's not
that
even a
everyone should
conversation.
have. It's not even a
It,
conversation.
they're humans and they deserve rights and they
Yep.
deserve to be loved.
And with that, we'll move on to another film. I watched again another horror film. I'm sorry, okay. I've been watching a lot of
Don't
horror films. I tried
apologise.
to break them up a bit, you know.
It's October. It's Spooktober.
It is October. We're being spooky. I watched Saint Maud, which I've been meaning to watch for such a long time because I've heard from people that it's so good and it's a modern horror film and it's directed by I think British director Rose Glass. Maybe she's Scottish
Has she
or
done
English.
something else recently? That's the
Maybe,
name
or she's
sounds very
filming
familiar.
something. I know that she's kind of at the I say at the beginning of her kind of breakout into mainstream films, but yeah,
Oh, she did.
yeah.
She did Love Lies Bleeding.
Oh yeah, I love that film.
I've not
Okay,
seen that.
that's how I know who that is. So that's why I kind of wanted to watch this because I also watched Love Lies Bleeding and really liked it. I was disappointed. And I don't like being disappointed. But I expected it to be really good. Like, I expected to love it, but I didn't. Like, I gave it 2.5 stars, which is quite low. It is quite low. It's like average. It's mid. And I don't like seeing mid films. Like, listen. I usually have less issues of pacing than Jack does in terms of reviewing films because I know that
I have
you do
terrible,
say a
terrible
lot, Jack, that
ADHD.
you
Got
yeah,
terrible
exactly.
ADHD.
Exactly. And like I don't mind when a film is
By the
slower.
way,
Some
can
of
I
my
just
favorite
clarify?
films are
Can I
slow.
just clarify? I don't have an issue with slow films. I have films that move without purpose. So I don't need my films to all be like Mad Max. I do like a slow film, but it's when they just kind of like meander and don't have a purpose. Anyway,
Yeah.
I'm stomping all over your review
But
there.
usually I actually sometimes don't even mind seeing things that don't matter or that don't come up later on, like just life happening. I don't mind that. But this film just takes so long to set stuff up and get going, and it just feels like a drag, and it shouldn't feel like a drag. And it might seem harsh, but that's how I felt. And I didn't want to feel this way. I wanted to like it, I swear. I liked like the very end, but liking the very end of a film is not enough. This film isn't even long, but it still took too long to get to that point where I'm like, "Well, that was cool," or "I like that." The payoff just wasn't worth it. Going through the first 70 minutes or so just for liking the very end 5 minutes or so, like it's just not. It's not worth it. A bit of a waste of time. Uh, just a little bit about the plot, just so people can kind of know what the film is about. It's about a nurse who is very religious, and she looks after an older woman, and we uncover that this nurse isn't as sweet as she seems. Ooh. Um, it's kind of just not my type of horror because it is more of that slow tension building, uncovering something, uncovering a character very slowly. I don't even know if I'd call it a horror film. Like I don't really know how to categorize it. Um Also somehow there's like gay undertones in this film, which I was not expecting, okay? It's like my friends
Have
were
you got a
like,
problem with that?
"How
Is that
no,
too
but
far for you?
no, but I was watching it and like there was just like gay stuff and then my friends are like, "How is it that every time you recommend a film like something gay happens?" I'm like, "How was I meant to know that a horror film about a nurse looking after an older woman is going to have something gay in it?" Like it's kind of out of nowhere. Um, but that still didn't save the film, which shows just how slow it was. Because usually I'd be like, "Whoa, that's cool. We have something gay," but no, it didn't. It didn't save the film.
The gays didn't save the day. Is that
No,
what
they
you said?
didn't. It's a shame. It usually doesn't go that way. Yeah, I don't know. Just not my type of horror. I wouldn't really recommend it if you are looking for a horror film. Go and watch something else I've recommended. Yeah, those are the two, and then we go back to Jack.
Yeah, so I've also gone for the next block is two films, both coming of age films. I'm not sure if I said this or not, but coming of age is actually one of my favorite film genres. I think there's so much you can do with that genre. And then I think even the generic coming of age films are still pretty decent. But like, Ferris Bueller's Day Off is one of the goats for coming of age, as is things like Everybody Wants Some. Although I didn't love it, Dazed and Confused is a great one. Basically, any Richard Linklater film, Boyhood,
By the way,
great
real
coming of age.
quick, the Dazed and Confused Criterion is so nice. It looks
I need to
beautiful. Have you
rewatch it.
seen it? Like in
No,
HMV? It's
don't tempt
like
me.
there's a slip cover and it's so lovely. Like that is why I really want to watch the film and like it, because then I want to buy the Criterion.
Yeah, my rule
It's
for
so
Criterion is
nice.
I won't buy Criterion unless I have it ranked at 4 stars or higher.
Yeah, exactly,
Otherwise,
because they are
I'd be
too
broke.
expensive. Unless
I've currently got
HMV
Dazed
wants
and
to
Confused at
sponsor us.
3.5.
If HMV wants to sponsor us, I will buy Criterions without watching them. Just saying.
Yeah. Anyway, first one we saw was a 2024 release called Snack Shack, starring one of my favorite upcoming actors, Gabriel LaBelle, who is he starred in The Fablemans, and he is going to star in Saturday Night, which is annoyingly coming out on the 31st of January 2025, when in America it comes out, I believe, in October, which is fucking annoying. But anyway, essentially, Gabriel LaBelle and this other guy, whose name I can't remember for the life of me, I'll try and get it up. They play these kids that are trying to be entrepreneurial, and they keep trying to like win bets and hustle over the summer. And in the end, they get bollocked by their parents because they get caught. I think they get caught smoking and gambling and brewing their own beer. Connor Sherry is the name of the other lad, and they in the end they spend their parents' money on renting out like this snack shack at a local pool. The local pool is not ran, but it's kind of like I guess managed by I think their older friend.
It's managed by
I can't.
Pool Man. He's
Yeah,
back.
he's back. Yeah, such just Chris Pine for a
Chris
character. Anyway,
Pine.
yeah,
Whoa.
no, it's managed by I think their older friend who's like early 20s maybe. Called Shane, played by Nick Robinson, who was the start of what's it called? Love Simon, I think it's called that film. Yeah, Love Simon. He's really good in this film, by the way. And yeah, it's just kind of like their summer of there's a girl moves in, played by Mika Abdallah, who is kind of like a love triangle going on there. And it's just all of like the classic tropes in terms of like the first time you fell in love with a girl, those kind of fleeting romances, kind of the first time you had a beer with your dad, like the schemes you concoct with your friends, and then actually I won't give it away, but it really really hits. I gave it a 4 out of 5. It's on Now TV at the moment, so it's on Sky. I highly 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 recommend this film. Really the only issue is that I just don't buy Mike Abdallah or Gabriella Bell playing 14-year-olds. It just doesn't work. They both look 20. I think it maybe should have pushed it to 16 or 17, and I think they probably would have got away with it. Connor Sherry kind of does get away with it because he looks really boyish, but the other two don't. Like Gabriella Bell is just like walking around like a 6-pack. She's like ripped as fuck, and Michael Abdallah is clearly a woman. But it's just a really really nice coming of age film that will hit you in the feels. So go watch that. And the other coming of age film I watched this is a rewatch. I watched Rushmore because I bought it on Criterion Collection about a month ago. Starring Bill Murray, Jason Schwartzman, who I love, and Olivia Cross. All three of those are absolutely excellent. I think Olivia Cross, I really appreciated her this time around, although Bill Murray for me is still a standout. This is classic kind of pre-Fantastic Mr. Fox, so kind of late 90s, early noughties, Wes Anderson, where it's very raw. You can tell it's got that kind of Wes style, but it's not in the kind of Asteroid City or French Dispatch way, where it's almost like it feels like the not two dimensions, like the two levels of foreground and background, and the symmetry, which is like a character in itself in its new films. It isn't like that back then, but there are still those touches. So I do really recommend this. It's 4 out of 5. It also made me really appreciate his wider filmography in terms of it collected all of his films about purpose. It's about finding a purpose, finding a why, and it's really, I guess, motivational. So go watch Rushmore, go watch Snack Shack. Veronica, what is your next batch of films?
Which I do have to explain myself. I watched a film called Busty Cops 2.
You have my attention.
Right.
What's that line from Django Unchained? You have my curiosity. Now you have my attention.
Okay, listen.
This feels anti-feminist.
I was in Manchester over the weekend. I was visiting some friends. And we were just sitting in the living room having a few beers. We were just scrolling through films before going out, as you do. And
as we all do.
yeah.
Whacking on Busty Cops. Crazy.
And listen, it just looked interesting. We were caught by the thumbnail. All right. And we just
For context,
thought,
by the way, the thumbnail is just a massive pair of tits, and I'll be honest, I respect it.
listen, no.
Yeah, I think Veronica, I think you should own it and go. If there's a film called Busty Cops 2, and the poster thumbnail is a woman with massive knockers, in some kind of police costume, I think you'd be a liar if you said that didn't entice you somewhat.
Well, listen, it wasn't just me. It was me and my friends, and we just thought it might be funny. So we turned it on, and we turned ourselves on. No, I'm joking.
Whoa.
I'm joking. I'm joking.
Very on the
I'm
nose.
joking.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, the film is really weird. It starts off right with like half an hour of a woman dancing. It's just a woman dancing for half an hour. That's it. Obviously, we didn't watch the full half an hour. We were just skipping through it, seeing when it ends because it was boring.
This is exactly how I felt about Climax, by the way.
Shut up! That's so. Oh, don't you dare! Don't you dare! Okay.
That's such a good line because I know it's pissed you off so much.
Yes, it has. Right, let's move on. So that was boring. We decided to skip to the plot points because we were like, listen, there has to be a plot here. Busty Cops 2, what is going on? What is the central story here? We need to know what is going on. Why?
It is a disgrace that you've logged this on Letterboxd and you fucking skipped half the film.
I didn't rate it at least. All right, listen. I watched at least 7 minutes. Right, listen. So we skipped to the plot points. I watched the plot points. I just didn't watch the bits where she was just dancing or doing other stuff.
This is what TikTok has done to this generation.
Oh my god,
I bet you had Subway Surfers on the bottom as well.
Shush. Right.
Tits on one eye and Subway Surfers on the other.
Listen, the plot parts were actually really funny, and they were very well acted by the Busty Cops actresses. I can confirm there is a talking llama.
I don't even know what to say to that.
There's a talking llama.
You had me at
also, at the end of the film, there's like this final standoff between Busty Cops and the people who are the bad people.
Do they not have names?
I can't remember them.
Oh, look at you.
Shut up.
Women.
Alright, listen.
What? Is that what you only appreciate their bodies, not
blah, 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 blah. No, I didn't appreciate the bodies, which is why I skipped to the plot points.
Oh, what? So you didn't appreciate the beautiful women?
No.
Oh, what? So all women are ugly? Oh,
I wanted to listen to what they had to say. Anyway, one of the Busty Cops, her gun shooting technique was so funny. So, like, imagine someone who's never held a gun, holding a gun, like, to the side, like, sideways, like, above their head, trying to shoot.
The bustiness. Got to get out of the way.
It was so funny. And, obviously the shooting bullets was completely, like, fake, like, so badly CGI'd. And, the plot, by the way, was that these cops were investigating a kidnapped whale. A kidnapped whale! Like an actual animal whale. What?
Who was the guy that directed Aggro Drift? What was his name?
Harmony Korine.
This sounds like a Harmony Korine film. It
Well,
just sounds mental. It sounds mental.
anyway, there's a scene where there's this really bad CGI whale at the end, and it is just swims like from the behind the camera into a wooden house, and it just like explodes. Actually, I can't remember what happens. I just know that it swims into the wooden house.
Spoilers. Jesus.
Sorry. I think I didn't rate it because obviously I didn't watch like the parts of the women were dancing, so I cannot give an honest review
You watched the
rating.
extended highlights of a film.
Yeah, basically, I watched the match of the day version. I would have liked it more if there was more than 7 minutes of actual dialogue and plot, because it was quite funny when the plot was there. To be fair, there was actually one of the cops was actually kind of homophobic. She used the F slur, but then she was gay. So like, can she use it or not? You know what? That's a discussion for another day. All right, that's a discussion for another episode. Actually, we will never discuss this ever probably again because
I'm not a busty gay cop, so
I'm not giving my opinion on who should be able to say the F slur.
I don't think this is this isn't what this podcast is for.
Yeah, no, this isn't what. Let's we'll leave that one to Joe Rogan. All right, and also to Talk to a podcast. They could cover that. Right. Anyway, yeah, let's move on from that. The second film I watched that day was when we came back from going out, which is I feel like that's a wrong way around. I feel like we probably should have watched Busty Cops 2 after coming back from going out.
Busty Cops 3 after.
Well, no, I did suggest watching Busty Cops 1, but
because I would argue that most people would watch Busty Cops 1 first to really understand the depth of the bustiness. And
no, I've recently actually been watching sequels without watching the first one, and that's kind of been a bad habit.
You're an idiot.
Anyway, yeah, so the second film we watched, because I was overruled, we wanted to watch a horror film because it's obviously October, and watching stupid bad horror films in person is funny, especially if you've had a bit to drink and you have some snacks and you're just sitting around watching. And talking the whole way through, because I'm really bad when I watch horror films with other people in person. Actually, any films with other people in person, and I've had some alcohol, and we're sitting around on the couch, I will talk the whole way through because I cannot shut up.
We've never boozed together, but you are one of the biggest yappers I've ever met.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine just how
yeah. Which is why we watched a bad film, because I feel like I knew that I was going to talk the whole way through.
You don't watch 12 Angry Men at an afters, are you?
No. Actually, one time we started watching the Fallout TV show. We watched the first 1 or 2 episodes, and I talked all the way through because I was a bit, and people were getting pissed off at me. Understandably so. All I was saying was that Ella Purnell was hot, to be honest, the whole way through. And I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry.
She's a great actress as well.
Yeah. Probably. Actually, she's in a new show that looks quite interesting. Sweet Pea on Sky.
That's a TV show. We don't do TV shows here.
Yeah, we don't do that. We only do music reviews now.
Yeah, we do Brat reviews and shit films.
And films, yeah.
Brat reviews and Busty Cops. That's the
oh my god, that's actually so good. Right. Yeah, we need to write that down, Jack, somewhere. Well, I'll talk about the second film I watched in Manchester on the same day, at the afters, which was The Mouse Trap, and this is a rubbish horror film. It was made only because of that Mickey Mouse public domain bullshit, kind of like the Winnie the Pooh one, but this one is pretty worse. I gave it 1 star because it was bad. But, well, actually, no. There's nothing good really to say, but I didn't give it 1/2 star. And there's a reason.
1 star for sympathy points because of the cast of the people enjoyed making it by any chance.
No. Anyway, so okay, I just want to mention something that I noticed during the film. The knife that the killer uses is a knife that you can literally find in my kitchen. Like it's one of those normal kitchen knives that you use for cutting vegetables. The one that has those little holes in it. On the side, it has those little indents. Do you know what I'm talking about? The little dips.
Yeah,
on the side, and you use it to cut vegetables. It's like not really sharp, but you use it because it goes like up and down really quickly. Do you get what I mean?
Yes, I think so.
It's like it's like an IKEA knife, right? Anyway, so that kind of annoyed me because it's like the front of it is just not sharp enough. Like usually the horror film knives are like, it's more like a triangle. It's more like a triangle. like more like a dagger. But this one was like, it genuinely looked like a vegetable knife. All right, anyway, so that kind of pissed me off.
Can you do a Mickey Mouse impression?
What do you want me to say?
Mickey Mouse. I'll do it if you do it.
Mickey Mouse? You do it first.
Mickey Mouse. What? That's my Mickey Mouse impression.
Mickey Mouse. Okay, I'm done.
We should leave it to the voice actors.
Oh! I mean, to be fair, Mickey Mouse doesn't say anything in this film.
Have you got a Scooby Doo in your locker? Because I do.
Mario
as well.
Right. Okay, right. Let's stop.
One last one.
Okay, fine.
It's a me, Mario.
That's pretty good. Okay.
No more impressions.
If you made it this far into the episode, like, you deserve that.
So you banked that one. That's a reward. Keep that.
Yeah. Okay. Right. I was talking about the knife. Oh yeah. It reminded me of Five Nights at Freddy's, but worse. And there's this. So, okay, what is it about? There's this girl. It's her birthday, her 21st birthday. She works at an arcade. Her friends show up for her birthday, and then her manager like goes to the back of the arcade and gets possessed by a Mickey Mouse mask, and then he becomes a killer. And like, to be fair, there are some funny lines in the script. 95% of them are said by this one actress who's this blonde girl, who actually like gives the most normal opinions and suggestions throughout the film, which usually you'd say the blonde girl would be the dumb one, but actually in this case they go the reverse, and I appreciated that. Yeah, so thank you for giving blonde women a better name, the Mousetrap creators. That was very nice. So I'd say she was a stand-up performance, even though I literally don't even know her name, and I tried looking for it, but I can't remember what the characters were called, so I just do not know which actress she is on Letterboxd, and I couldn't find any of it on IMDb. But like, the film, yeah, is such a bizarre ending because it answers nothing. Like, so throughout the film, there's these random scenes of this woman, like goth woman, like one of the girls. She's like this goth, and she's like in prison.
Women with this podcast.
I don't stand, and I don't want them to stand on me either.
Yeah,
no,
I didn't have to.
I'm a no. I'm a no personally.
Yeah,
it's just not for me.
Goth. This is a ruling from the official party line of the Floodlights Camera Action. They've got the name of the podcast. Goth women are banned from this podcast.
Yeah. Apparently all women are banned from this podcast because we never get one as a guest. Okay.
Look, here's a little peek behind the curtain. We're waiting for the Busty cops to come on. That's
yeah, true. Actually true, but not the one who said the F-slur. She's banned.
Yeah, we don't know any women either, so
Anyway, about the ending. So randomly throughout the film, there's scenes of these cops interrogating this goth woman who's in jail for some reason, and then they like ask her questions about what happened that night and blah blah blah. And we know that she's the only one who survived, right? That's why they're asking her questions, because they're like, oh, if you're the only one who survived, then you're Mickey Mouse. But she wasn't Mickey Mouse.
Oh, Mickey Mouse.
Yeah. But then the ending, it ends with like no final person left or like explanation of what happened, because like I said, we know only one person survived, which was the goth woman. But then in the ending of the film, there's like 4 people still alive. So they're clearly opening it for a sequel, but it's like in the most obvious way possible, where it doesn't even end the first film at all. Like, at all. It just ends with 4 of them still alive, and we know that that's not how it happened. Oh, it's so stupid. I hope it doesn't get made, because that pissed me off. And that was my 2 films.
My next 2 films. First one was Big Trouble in Little China, which is the Kurt Russell and John Carpenter film I talked about earlier. This is one of my dad's favorites. I was going through my bookcases at home, and I grabbed a couple of DVDs. A couple of them I watched. The kind of this film and the next one I talk about are ones I watched. It's very hard to explain. It's kind of like if a love child out of David Lynch's Dune, Labyrinth, starring David Bowie, great film by the way, and Big Lebowski was some kind of like weird combination. Kurt Russell plays this trucker. I think his name was Jack. Can't really remember. And he kind of gets chucked into like this.
Wait, can I quickly interrupt?
Go on.
Do you, like, when you don't remember a film character's name, do you just decide to call them Jack?
No, that was
like every
that was
time.
yeah.
I can't remember what his
That
name was called. Probably Jack.
really tall, cool guy. It is probably Jack. But no, he kind of gets chucked into the Chinese criminal underworld of San Francisco, I believe it is. He's trying to rescue two women or something from these like wizard Chinese people who turn out to be monsters. Um, it makes the film makes no sense. It's so stupid. But it's one of them where you kind of just got to accept it and go with it. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. Because it was fun. It was fun. It made no sense, but it was fun. Kurt Russell was so good. He was really cool. His line delivery was on point. Um, he is like super cheesy. Like it was like he says to this woman, he says, "If I'm not back by tomorrow, you go call the president." And it's like, what are you doing? And then there's one line where he has lipstick on and he plays it completely straight. But yeah, it's a really fun film. Veronica, I'd actually recommend you watch Big Trouble in Little China. Because it's just stupid and funny. It's a comedy, like an action comedy. Recommend that. Next one I watched was I think it might have been one of my grandma's favorites potentially. It was Somewhere in Time, which is like a time travel romance film starring Christopher Reeve, who's obviously Superman back in the day. He was very very good in this. Basically, I'm not giving away too much here. At the beginning of the film, he's like a playwright, and a woman, really old woman, comes up to him and says, like ominously says, "Come back to me." And it skips 8 years, and he sees a portrait of this woman when she was very young, very beautiful, and basically he goes back in time and falls in love with her. And it was like I gave it 3 stars out of 5. It was very sincere and earnest. Um, one there where the pacing was a bit of an issue, but overall it did work. The score was genuinely stunning. Was like very moving, which is I always find it really impressive when music can do that. And the last 20 minutes is perfect. That the whole kind of third act works really well. Yeah, I was a big fan of that. Veronica, I believe you got 3 films left. What were your last 3 films you saw? If my maths works out.
Yeah, actually, there's a reason that you have a podcast and not a maths lecture
Does that not
show.
count?
All right. I have 4 left, but we
4.
can go through
Wow.
all 4 to be honest, because
Oh, 4. Go for it.
yeah, the first one is a film that I saw at home, which is the sequel to Beetlejuice, a film I haven't seen before. uh,
The original Beetlejuice is decent. It's not great.
well,
It's just decent.
I just thought like, I'll be fine, whatever. It doesn't seem like something that you have to watch the first one to watch the second one.
No, not really.
Yeah, so I watched Beetlejuice, the one that released this year. I don't think it counts as a horror film. Like, it's just not a horror film at all.
It's a comedy, isn't it?
It's a comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't see the first one, which is kind of my fault. And I don't know if it was a mistake, maybe because like I honestly had no idea what was going on. I was messy. Like I thought it was like kind of thrown together, just bits and scenes thrown together without much of a constant or like a
I
thread
think
between them.
I think you missed out by not watching the first one. I think you can watch it without seeing. I've not seen the second one, but I kind of my gut feeling would be that you can watch it without seeing the original. But I think the first one is really good at making you buy into how kind of
Mm-hmm.
stupid Tim Burton's vision is, and it really works because the performances, Michael Keaton especially, is so good.
Yeah, I thought Michael Keaton in the second one even he is really good. Although I think there should be more of him, which is crazy because he is in it quite a lot. But I just like wish it was about him centrally rather than Jenna Ortega's character because I
Yeah, he's
didn't
got
really
pretty
like.
limited screen time in the first
I'm
film as well, but
sorry.
he's the
He's
standout.
like
You
for the
spend a lot of
best
time
part
with
of the
Alec Baldwin's
film.
character.
They also added Willem Dafoe, which was like amazing, but then he's barely in it, and it's a shame because he's really good and he completely
He's
buys
having a good
into it.
year as well. He's
I
having a
love
good year.
him. I actually love him. I actually love him.
Beetlejuice, Saturday night when it comes out.
Kinds of kindness.
I did say that. I did say that.
Oh, you did. Oh, I wasn't listening.
Wavelength.
I actually muted you. Anyway, the rest of the stuff, like, so Michael Keaton was good. I wish there was more. Willem Dafoe was good, but he had very limited screen time. Like, the plot and the rest of it, the Jenna Ortega stuff, Although I don't hate Jenna Ortega. Like I really don't. I think she was good in Scream, the new Scream, but the rest of it was kind of giving me
I
vibes
don't
of
really like
Disney
Jenna
Channel
Ortega. Just saying, I'm sure she's
original
lovely,
movie.
but
She
she's kind of
seems
mid.
nice.
Yeah, but
Let's
that's not
move
enough,
on.
mate. It's a cutthroat industry.
All right. Yeah. So the rest like that I didn't really like. It was just reminding me of like Disney Channel original movie, and not a good one like High School Musical 2. Like something rubbish. Oh, also I like Monica Bellucci, uh, but she's not in it enough again. And she's married to Tim Burton, I think. Which
Tell me to
fair,
fact check
fair.
these things. Am I the
Yeah, can
resident
you?
fact checker?
You're my fact checker. Like the presidential debate in America, they have a fact checker. You can be my fact checker for
Are
anything I
you
say.
scared of answering this?
Tim Burton is married to Monica Bellucci. I'm pretty sure.
Monica Bellucci, husband. See what good podcasts do is they just let the producer do it in the background.
Yeah, we don't
But
have a
no,
producer, so
no.
what?
Monica Bellucci was married to Claudio Carlos Basso in
What?
the early
Wait, who?
90s,
Wait, okay, who is Tim
and
Burton married to? Because I'm
right,
so sure that it was her.
right, Tim Burton partner. Maybe they're partnered together, but
No.
oh no, no. Okay, so they're not married, but they are in a relationship.
Oh, okay.
Both of
Well, I
them.
was gonna say there's no way I'm wrong. Okay,
Yeah, okay.
right.
I just she
Well,
looks
yes, I'm.
really good for 60.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm
Shout out
saying.
to
She
Monica
does look
Bellucci.
really good. Shout out, like you keep doing what you're doing because it's working. You know, whatever. If you are doing anything to yourself,
Yeah,
actually,
unless
you
it's
know what?
design.
If you don't want to have any more plastic surgery, do not keep doing what you're doing. I watched The
Stay
Substance.
there. You're doing well there,
Just
Monica. Just sit.
Just be there. Right. Anyway, let's move on before you say something bad. Next film I saw, which was my second film at London Film Festival, because this was like the public screenings at the Royal Festival Hall. Which, by the way, Royal Festival Hall is rubbish for watching films in, unless you sit on the balcony in one of the first two rows. And I did sit on the balcony in one of the first two rows for 2 films out of the 3 that I've seen so far in that, because it's clearly not made for films. The seats are kind of like there's not the angle that they're on is just not steep enough for you to like not have the screen blocked by the head of the
Yeah.
person in front of you.
So whilst we're on this, one of the worst screens in my local area for that kind of issue is the Odeon in Port Solent. I think it's an Odeon. I can't remember. Anyway, the Port Solent Cinema, north of Portsmouth. The main layer is too low. It's
Yeah.
not got 2 tiers, but it's just like so you have to like either break your neck or like dislocate your back to see it. So yeah, I think
Yeah, so
that's very
it does kind of annoy me that they do the public screenings there because they should do them at Picture House Central or somewhere else. Like, yeah, I don't know,
know
BFI
what
South
houses.
Bank.
Yeah, BFI South Bank, big time.
Yeah. Because I get why they do it there because there's loads of space and there's loads of seats and a massive stage, but and obviously the red carpet's like kind of joined to it, but like it's clearly not made for films, and I get why people don't like watching films there unless you get balcony first row. Anyway, I went to watch Nickel Boys, which was the like a special presentation screening, and I wasn't on the balcony, so I had to kind of lean my neck to the right the whole film to be able to see the whole screen, and my neck hurt so bad afterwards because it was 2.5 hours.
Oof, that is a long time to be
yeah,
in that kind of position.
it was awful. Like, it was so bad, and also it was a 9 p.m, so it finished at like 11:30 almost, and then I had to go get the tube home.
Was the film good at least?
Yes, it was. Well, it was also cool that the director and the actors they did like an intro little Q&A on stage before the film, which is really pretty cool. One of them was Ingenue Ellis, who's like a brilliant actress, so that was nice to hear from them.
Am I right in saying this is the film that was? I might be wrong here. Is this shot in first person?
Yes.
How was that?
Well, I want to say real quick, I haven't got a rating on this film. Like on my letterbox, it's just a like. I didn't rate it. I like the film, but like, there's certain films that are about specific subject matters that I find very hard to give a rating to. It feels almost disrespectful. It's kind of like Zone of Interest. I found
Yeah,
it
I was gonna
so
say,
hard to rate Zone of Interest because it's I
like,
don't know, I just
I
find
have,
it hard to rate a film about such a difficult subject matter
mm,
because it's a
I
difficult
have,
watch.
so on that I have, so I have zone of interest at a 4 out of 5, but I have like Mike Bassett England manager at a 4.5 out of 5. And it's like, oh, I feel bad, but like, no, you're not saying
Yeah.
that film's better or more. What you're trying to say is that Nickel Boys is equal in rating to Busty Cops 2, two very
Oh my god.
impactful films. At
I
least you did
didn't
that one
give a
apart.
like to Busty Cops 2. I gave a
Yeah,
like to Nickel Boys.
same
There's a
rating though, isn't it?
difference.
Same rating.
No, there's no rating. All right. But you get what I mean, because then it's like, well,
I'm
let's say I
afraid to
gave
watch
it.
Schindler's List in case I hate it and I have to give it like a 2 stars. Like
Yeah, like,
I just look like a
listen,
Nazi, which
it's
wouldn't be ideal.
like, let's say the closest I was to rating it was a 4. I'll say that a 4 or a four point
Yeah,
five. But I don't know. I just feel like it's so hard for me to write it in. Like I
this
just
is
find it
why
so hard to write it in.
this is why I sympathize, or not sympathize. This is why I understand why people who don't do ratings on Letterboxd only
Yeah,
do likes
same.
or not likes.
And
Like
also, but then it was the same with Megalopolis for a completely different reason because then after every film I watched after
Spotty.
Megalopolis, I compared to Megalopolis. I'm like, was it better or worse than Megalopolis? Actually, I don't know because I don't
I
know
did the
if I
same.
liked Megalopolis.
I did the same, and then I went, yes, every film is better than Megalopolis.
Oh, shut up. You just don't get it. Anyway, so then when I have Megalopolis on a 3.5, and I'm like, I'll put Nickel Boys at a 4, but I'm like, Nickel Boys was so much better than Megalopolis. Like, I don't know. Anyway, so I find it hard to rate it. I'm just not going to rate it because I don't want to think about my rating. I just liked it. But it's hard. It is a hard watch, and they talked about it before the film. It is a hard watch, but it's something. It's not. It doesn't give you much hope, to be honest. And the actors and director talked about it before the film. So Ingenue Ellis was asked about that, and she said like, you might say that it's not hopeful and it's a hard watch, but the fact that you're even here to witness it and to watch it, like that's enough. Like that's enough of a kind of you're still doing something because you're actually not turning a blind eye to the
If you can
subject matter.
say, what is this? What is the subject matter?
Okay, well I'm about to
In
say.
very vague terms, if you want.
So obviously I don't want to spoil it because it's just been at film festivals. It hasn't been released at all. But it's about a reform school in Florida called the Nickel Academy. I'm pretty sure it's based on a true story.
I thought it was about Nickelback. I'm actually really disappointed now.
Check.
That's a shame.
Well, anyway, it's about a reform school in Florida, and it's about these two black teenage boys who become friends at the school, and they go through a lot of suffering during their time at this school because I think it was the 60s, and they also were in a separate school than the white boys, so they were also treated a lot worse. Even though obviously the white kids were also treated badly because they're in a reform school in the 60s, and you know, like it wasn't great, but they were treated even worse. And it is also filmed, like Jack said, in this kind of first-person point of view. It sometimes switches between between the two main characters, which is quite interesting, and it is done in kind of a seamless way. Like I didn't really have a problem with that. Although I do think like if it wasn't filmed in that way, it might have been better. I do think that maybe. I wasn't like a massive like fan of it. Like I get that it's different and it's a kind of experimental to do that. I get why, but then also it's like I don't think it made the film better. I just don't think it made it better than it would have been
Are you saying
filmed
it's woke
differently.
nonsense? It's a gimmick. Is that what you're saying?
I don't know if I'd call it a gimmick, but I
It's
feel
a
like
creative choice that maybe didn't land.
it's a correct choice that didn't land with me. I know some
Cool.
people loved it and called it like revolutionary, but to me,
I feel like
it
I
didn't
hate it.
work.
I feel too like So I love Peep Show. This is a weird one, but I love Peep Show. But I feel like the good about Peep Show is obviously it's like 20-minute episodes, so you can just do it in like little bursts. Whereas I feel like for 2.5 hours, I feel like I'd be a bit I guess maybe even like claustrophobic.
Sometimes you don't notice it though. Like sometimes it is just watching a situation from someone's perspective, but it's not like you notice that it's first person. You only kind of realize it's first person when like you see their hand do something, or like you're, let's say, looking up at the sky from like laying on the grass, so you're obviously in first person. But it's not like that like the whole film that is really obvious. It's just a different angle basically. But it is a good film. It's like kind of, it's hard to recommend, but it's also like you should watch it. I feel like everyone should watch it. It is like a necessary story to tell and to like witness, like they said, like you kind of have to witness it and not turn a blind eye to stuff, because this stuff happened so much all across America. There were loads of reform schools where these kids died in there, like they were buried on the grounds of these schools, and their families had no idea what was going on as well. There were no visitors allowed and stuff like that. So yeah, I think the performances are really good. I wouldn't be surprised if they got nominations to Oscars, to be honest. What are you gonna say?
Fair enough. I was going to say big year for prison film. Reform school is like a prison school, right? Almost.
It's, well,
It's
the
like an
thing is,
education type thing,
like if you do
I'm not that familiar.
something that they like, let's say the police or whatever seem as you're a bad kid, they throw you in a reform school.
It's like juvie.
Yeah, basically. But also,
I was just going to say about obviously Sing Sing was about a very different film from what I've heard. I've not seen it.
Yeah.
But,
this is way more bleak than
interesting.
Sing Sing.
Yeah, I might give it. I would give it a miss because I'm sure I'll get around to watching it eventually. But it's not one of them where I'm like, I've got to see it. It's
It will make you depressed, like
yeah.
That's why it's hard to recommend films like that.
I'm doing okay at the moment. I don't want to be doing worse.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll leave that for a few years.
Like, yeah, I found it hard to put it down to star rating, so I'll just say I recommend it, but just be aware that there are some things you will see in it that are really awful. But it is a good film, and the performances are great. And yeah, I'll move on. Like, there are people out there who are way better at talking about serious films than me, and I just feel like you should go and watch someone else's review, basically, because
or go watch the film and make your own.
Or go watch the film, yeah. Right. This next one, I have a smile on my face just looking at the title, because this is my absolute. Shut up, man. Listen, this is serious. This is my best film of the year. Maybe one of my favorite films ever. London Film Festival, Film 3. I went and watched Anora, and I gave it 5 stars.
I'm so excited to see Anora when did it come out?
Oh my god! Beginning of November is when it's out here. I don't know. Okay,
I can't wait.
I will see it again. I will be there. Maybe even twice in one day. Oh my god! Just let me get through this review. Just let me get through it. Do not interrupt me, okay? I have to just go on a tangent about Nora. Please, just let me go through it. This film is incredible. Like, I cannot even articulate or explain how good this film is, because everyone should watch it and make your own opinion, but it is incredible. I expected it to be incredible because I love Sean Baker, the director. I love his work. The Florida Project is one of the movies that made me fall in love with film, because the way that he casts his actors and the way that he films things and shows things from a director's perspective is like so genuine and so human that there are not many people who know how to frame stories in the way that he does, like genuinely. I mean, completely, this isn't just me giving a high praises, like, it is exactly what it is. It just is like that. He is that good. And Anora is, like, I was gonna use other words, but, like, I just have to use words that are, like, spectacular and beautiful, because it is in some ways. And then
I'd say masterpiece.
I would say masterpiece. but then it is emotional and sad in others, like especially if you think about it afterwards, or you give it some, look at scenes in a different way after, or whatever. This is why it needs a second watch at least, because I do think that the first time you watch it, you see it, like a lot of it is funny. You won't expect it to be.
Fucks, by the way. It looks very good
Yeah.
trailer.
I didn't watch the trailer before watching the film. I actually didn't even read the plotline Letterboxd. I literally had no idea. I just knew it was a Sean Baker film, so I knew I had to see it, and I knew it won Palme d'Or at Cannes, which means it is going to be probably good. But like, it needs a rewatch, because on the first watch, it kind of surprises you how funny it is. It's probably the funniest film I've seen this year, which is crazy because it seems like a drama or like a human story, but human stories can be funny. And it is really fucking funny, like especially the middle part. I won't spoil because this is absolutely a film you have to see without spoilers, which is why I'm not going to talk a ton about the plot. But the audience was incredible. Like, everyone loved it. Everyone laughed when you were meant to laugh, and the comedic stuff hit every single time. There was a scene where people clapped afterwards because like the writing was so good and Mikey Madison's performance was so good that like it made people want to clap out of respect. But it's like none of the actors or director were even there. It's just everyone wanted to appreciate the scene that just happened, so they started clapping. Like, I don't know, it's like, it's rare at film festivals actually. You'd think that they clap the whole way through the film, the way that people talk about film festivals, but it's rare for like people start clapping during a film just to appreciate a scene. It happened during Poor Things at Venice as well, which is how you know a film is really like everyone is loving the film, when you start showing appreciation during it. But anyway, like I said, a very human film with a very genuine main character of Honora, which is the name of the main character, even though she uses the name Annie throughout the film. She's never judged. She's shown in a perspective where the viewer isn't even felt compelled to judge her actions. I absolutely love Mikey Madison. Her performance is my favourite of the year. I do not expect this to be nominated for awards just because of what it's about and the
I think Mikey
characters.
Madison stands a chance. Isn't she the favourite for the
Right, but
best
the
lead actress
subject
currently?
matter, they can be iffy. Although they did give Emma Stone the win last year, and that was a very much a performance that was.
This is about narrative as well, right? I think.
Yeah, but it's about narrative. But Poor Things isn't exclusively about sex work, right? It has stuff included, but it's not exclusively about that. And she's only a sex worker throughout some of the film, right?
Yeah,
It's
but
not
I
like
guess,
she
I
is
guess
fully.
like you could like the laziest possible narrative you derive out of Poor Things. It's a bit nonsense. I'm not saying that's true, by the way. I don't
Yeah,
think that,
but like I
but
think this
Hollywood
is
execs could frame it that way.
harder. But I think this is harder to give awards to. Like, I don't know. I really hope it does. I hope it gets nominated for Best Picture. I hope it wins Best
Sean
Picture.
Baker,
I hope
Oscar
Mikey
chance.
Madison wins Best Actress. The Supporting Actor award should go to I forgot his name. There's the Russian billionaire's
Russian guy.
son. Yeah, he is so fucking funny. Everything he says.
Should we the fact check? Shall
Yes, do a fact check. Get me his name because he deserves a shout out. He is brilliant. He's so funny and he plays this part so well. Even at when there's not a comedic moment, he is still
right?
brilliant.
Okay.
Go on then. Say it.
Shout out to Mark Idel.
No, that's not the guy. That's not the guy. Wrong guy. I mean,
No?
he's also really good. The kid's name's like Yuri Borisov or something. Oh, please find it.
What? What do you mean? There's no Yuri Borisov in this film.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Honora cast. Stop.
Yeah, I'm looking right. It goes Mike Madison, Mark, and then Karen.
Oh wait, no, it's Mark.
Yuri
It's
Borisov.
Mark.
Yuri
Oh no,
Borisov.
he plays a different Russian guy. I mean, Armenian guy. Mark Idelstein. Yeah, that guy. Yeah. That's what I was talking about. Yeah, he
right.
should be nominated.
From
Best Supporting
Oh
Actor.
god.
I mean, all the supporting actors are great, but he is like a complete breakout performance. Like, absolutely. And I feel like he might get a bit ignored. But he reminds me of Mark Ruffalo in Poor Things in the way that everything he says, everyone laughs. Like, even if he's just saying something normal, it comes across funny because he's such a great comedic actor.
I like this podcast. You'd argue.
Yeah, when I speak, yeah. Anyway.
That's what you think.
Let me carry on with my Nora review because I'm obsessed with this film. And the next thing I wrote is, yeah, I'm obsessed with this film because I am obsessed with this film. I genuinely couldn't sleep the next day because I kept thinking about the film. Like that. That is what that. I mean, that happened with Poor Things with me as well. Like when I watch a film that I love this much and I'm obsessed with, I will just think about it the whole time, and I'll listen to music from it, and I won't be able to sleep, and I will I will basically try to memorize every scene from the film because I need to see it again.
Are you okay?
No,
No.
no, I'm not. I have a podcast. What do you think?
Yeah, that's the line.
But anyway, yeah, the crowd was brilliant. Like with a film like this, you have to go see it with a crowd. Trust me, you will love seeing it with a crowd. The screenplay, I absolutely love the screenplay. There's all right. I'm
Is
going
it
to talk about one
adapted or
scene.
original? If
I
it
think
got,
it's
let's say, if
original.
it
I'm
got,
pretty sure it's
oh,
original.
cool. That might stand a chance then, because
Yeah, there's a lot of
for a
adapted.
nomination at least, like Dune 2 Part 2 would be adapted.
Yeah,
Others would as well. Anyway,
but anyway, I want to talk about one scene, and I know Connor has seen this film and he completely agreed with me about this scene. The fact that it's incredible. There's a specific scene that's my favorite, and I'm not going to say what happens in it because that's a spoiler. I'll just describe the feeling. So, it, the feeling it makes you feel is it kind of makes everything seem so dreamlike and like perfect, kind of like too good to be true, too good to be real. And obviously it's a film, so it's not real, but you completely get lost in this perfect dreamlike sequence. I don't, maybe it was just me, but it made me feel so warm inside. Like it kind of gave me like hope in a way, even though it's not that deep, but it makes it's not that deep, the scene itself, but it makes you feel so much. Like it surprised me how much it made me feel. And then it kind of makes you also sad at the same time because life isn't like that. It's not like the feeling that the scene makes you feel, and none of it is real. And you get really caught up and too into this impossible dream like feeling that it gives you. The fact that I describe the scene like that, you will see it and you'll tell me like, what the fuck are you talking about? But this is what I felt watching it. I've never felt like that during a film or during seeing a scene. It was really weird. Maybe it's just me being not in the best place, but like it was weird. And the music that plays is a version. I can send you exactly. Actually, no, don't listen to it before the film. Uh, there's this version of "Greatest Day" by Take That, and it's a massive part of the soundtrack. And
what
it's
a
more,
great song, by the way.
it is a great song, but this is like a
Great song.
kind of like more of a club version of it, but it's so fucking
So
good.
you're saying it's Greatest Day, but completely different, but still the Greatest Day.
Yes, exactly. It's the Brat remix. Okay, no, it's not. It plays in the first scene of the film, the very first scene of the film, and it plays in the sequence that I've described. And it's this version of the song has been stuck in my head for days. Like I cannot stop playing it, and whenever I play it, I think about the film, and it makes me feel so weird because then I'm reminded of the scenes in the film. And yeah, I really need to see it again because if I don't see it soon, I fear that I will never fall asleep again because it's so stuck in my head. I need to watch it at least like 6 times until I fall out of love with Mikey Madison as Anora. And speaking of falling in love with Mikey Madison, I do have a story, a little anecdote, which is quite funny. And I told it Jack before we started recording, and
Oh,
he said,
this I've never heard this story. What?
right, and I said I don't want to say it, but Jack said, no, it's really good. You have to say it. So now I have to say
It
it.
is a good anecdote.
So I was talking to my mum about Anora, and my mum watches the podcast, so shout out,
Shout out to Veronika's
biggest
mum.
fan.
Biggest fan.
So I was talking to her about Anora, and she asked me what it's about. I told her, it's about a stripper in New York. She marries a Russian billionaire's son, and then she says, "Oh, so did you come out of the film wanting to marry a Russian billionaire's son now?" And I replied, "No, I want to marry a stripper now." And I don't know if she found that funny, to be honest.
I did. I found it
I
very
think
endearing and not at all surprising.
yeah, you know what I do think, and this might be bad, but I do think I'm the type of person that would fall in love with a stripper if she looked at
Why are you
me.
saying that's bad? Why are you saying that's bad? That's love.
I feel like it's a bit pathetic.
Have you not seen the film The Wrestler?
No,
From Darren Aronofsky. He falls in love with a
well,
stripper.
well, anyway.
Love is love, Veronica. Love is love.
Mikey Madison, if you wanna call me anytime, like give
Yeah,
me
I'm
one
gonna break your heart.
chance.
She isn't a stripper, so
Well, I listen. If whatever she
she
is,
might give
I
you a chance
accept
anyway.
her.
She might
Please,
see you and be wowed.
please. Like, oh my god, wow, well platinum. What a
Oh,
reference, Jack.
oh, now I'm thinking about that scene in the bank with Shia LaBeouf. Oh,
All right.
oh.
Anyway, next film. Next film. My last film, most recent watch. I watched yesterday. I did watch it yesterday. My latest film, also London Film Festival film, number 4, headline gala, intro by the director, and one of my favorite actresses, Amy Adams. Amy Adams. I saw her in the flesh before the film started, which was really cool because I love her. I love her performances in Arrival and Nocturnal Animals. She kind of fell off with the films she's been picking, but she looks incredible. I can't believe
She's
she's
the Adam
50. She's
Driver of
50 years
actresses.
old. She's
She
50 years
just
old,
picks weird
but
projects.
she looks incredible. She's absolutely incredible. Anyway, the film. Have I even mentioned the film's name? The name is Night Bitch. The film's name is Night Bitch. Very edgy to put the word bitch in your title, but there we go.
I'm derogatory to women, so I'm not a fan of it personally.
Well, it kind of refers to female dog quite literally,
Oh, right. Oh,
so
because you
it's
were
not.
barking
It's
for Amy
fine.
Adams.
Right, let's move on. I gave it 3 stars, but I did like it. Like I actually kind of heard the plot of this film already before watching, so I wasn't very blind. Like I knew it was something to do with a woman thinking she was turning into a dog. I knew that,
Were you the
and
kind of person in school who'd run around barking and howling? Because you do kind of
no,
give those vibes, I'll be honest.
no, stop, right, stop it. Anyway, it was actually quite funny, and I didn't expect it. I thought it was be more like a drama trying to be too serious, but with a stupid subject matter. And it is kind of that, but it is more of a comedy that buys into the fact that it's stupid. And I think that Amy Adams' performance is really good. Like lots of people actually laughed quite a lot, so like it was quite funny. But I think it should have leaned into it even more, like just goes straight comedy because
Commit to
there
the
were
bit.
yeah, just commit to it fully because there were times when it tried to explain concepts like philosophical and like misogynistic concepts and societal stuff, and I just think compared to what was on screen, like in the next scene or whatever, it seemed out of place. And I think that when you go with a plot that is so out there, and then you try and ground it with, these trying to conceptualize stuff, and trying to explain your metaphors, like it just is too ambitious. I'm gonna say it. I think it was too ambitious, thinking that these two things can intertwine and come together in one film. I no, like it should have just been fully comedy and stop trying so hard. In my opinion, obviously I'm not an expert or anything, but I do have a film podcast, so maybe listen to me. Top 40 in the UK at one point for film reviews. Anyway, but I do not have a film degree, so what do I know? The film, right? I just kind of explained basic plot, but it's about a mother, Amy Adams, who struggles with being a kind of a stay-at-home mother, housewife kind of character persona, and leaving her dreams behind and her career and stuff. So she starts to become like a wild animal, like animalistic, and discovering some signs that she may be turning into a dog. There's one scene that is quite disgusting where basically it's a scene where her tail grows out
That's
and
like that. That sounds like that fucking David Cronenberg film, The Fly.
no, but listen, the scene where her tail grows out is pretty nasty, I will say. Anyway, I just want to say, Amy Adams, if you're listening, I will be seeing you at FurryCon 2025. Well, like, obviously, I won't be there. I won't be
You're Stockholm,
attending.
aren't you?
Listen, I won't be attending FurryCon to see you, but, like, I will, like, she'll be there because of this film, and I'll find out about it from, like, other sources. I won't actually be there.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
But I'll see
One
that.
of
I
these
mean,
though. Now,
yep,
is it me? Is it me?
it's you now.
Cool.
Go on.
My final three films, I won't take too long because um I don't want you to come sick of my voice. But first one I saw, I guess the first of this batch of three is Civil War, directed by Alex Garland. Garland?
I have a poster of that film. I loved it.
Is it just Kaylee Spaney?
No.
She is very hot.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, let's cover that now. Anyway, um, I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. Disappointed by it. I was disappointed by it. In terms of positives, cinematography was really good. The editing, I loved the editing. Soundtrack it was almost like a bit Vietnam War-y, which was I thought was a really good choice. Um, Jesse Plemons is the best performance in the film. He's probably one of the only performances that is anything above a 6 out of 10. He is terrifying in he's only in one scene. Obviously, the What Kind of American Are You scene that was in the trailer. He's so good. I've never seen him have a bad performance. He actually, I would say, he is a successor to um, Philip Seymour Hoffman in terms of like those elite, and I mean elite, supporting actors. Maybe Cooper Hoffman could become that one day, Philip Seymour Hoffman's son, but we'll see. In terms of negatives, though, I didn't love the performances. Um, was it Kirsten Dunst was the lead? I didn't think she was particularly good. The guy who played Pablo Escobar in the film, the TV show Narcos, he wasn't that great. Katie Spaney was okay.
Katie Spaney was good.
She's very
Shut
beautiful.
up.
She's just okay.
She was
Um,
good.
I thought it was too short. It needed to be 2.5 hours long, in my opinion, or like 2 hours 20, pushing 2.5 hours, because I think it needed more time to breathe. And I think one issue I had, and I get why they didn't include it, and actually I do sort of respect it. I think they needed to contextualize why the Civil War was taking place. I think,
I hate
look,
what you're saying.
look,
I
I
hate what
get
you're
it.
saying. I completely disagree.
I, okay, I'm not. Well, it's my opinion. I couldn't connect with any of the characters really because I just didn't understand the stakes. And I get that's the point because you're from the perspective of a journalist, sorry, of a photojournalist trying to stay neutral.
Yeah,
And
and they're all scum.
yeah, no, I agree, but I needed more. And even if let's say they didn't contextualize it, I still needed more. Because it felt like it was weirdly paced in that I don't know. It just felt like things were just happening, but
It just wasn't for
it,
you.
it just didn't. It was for me because it
You
is
just
my
didn't get
kind of
it.
film. Yeah, I just didn't get it. It just wasn't for me.
Just didn't
It's
get it.
my kind of
Sorry.
film. Yeah, I just needed more from it. However, the third act is for me one of the best of the year. I think. Um, and the final negatives, the whole film, as I said, it just felt emotionless. Um, obviously
That
there
was
was
the point. That was the point.
I don't care if it was a point. It's kind of for me, it's kind of irrelevant if it's the point. It was I need to feel something, and unfortunately, I didn't. Um, and my last thought would be so one of
You're
my
just too
not favorite,
emotional.
but yeah, just a big old baby. One of my favorite directors, not favorite director actually, I just quite like and respect his work. Terrence Malick. I would have loved to see him direct this film. I think he would never do it because it's not what he does, but he directed Thin Red Line, which is my favorite ever war film. He would have. I feel like he would have done a better job than Alex Garland at directing. I think he would have given more time and more space to things. But yeah, just a 3.5 out of 5. Bit disappointing, but good, definitely good. And I don't get why Alex Garland's quitting directing. Like,
I also don't
come
get
on.
why there's people who watched Civil War and gave it like half a star. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
like,
it's
I
insane.
do not understand how
At
someone can
worst,
hate that film.
at
Like,
worst, it's inoffensive. At
yes, yeah,
worst,
I don't understand why people went completely the other way and hated on it because I thought it was gonna be shit when I went to the cinema to watch it because of the reaction it got, and I was so surprised.
the
Like,
first trailer looked really cool. I was really
I
I
just
just didn't catch
I
it.
don't watch
I just
trailers
didn't
though.
catch it when it was yeah. I mean, these days, like look at the Gladiator 2 trailer, like you just give away the entire film.
Yeah, and I'd rather not see it. Like, I'd rather not
Yeah.
watch the trailer.
Anyway, next film. Stanley Kubrick's Paths of Glory. He directed it when he was about 28. It's a World War One / courtroom drama. It's about an hour and a half long about these soldiers that are kind of accused of cowardice, I believe it is, and Kirk Douglas's character is trying to defend him. It's a little bit what's it called? The Tom Cruise Jack Nicholson film. Oh my god, brain fart. A Few Good Men. It's a little bit A Few Good Men. I've not properly seen A Few Good Men since I was a small child, so I need to rewatch it. But it was kind of had those vibes. I gave it a 3 out of 5. All the reviews are 4.5 out of 5 or 5s on Letterboxd. It's crazy. Um, I pissed off Swansea Alex, who I'm mutuals with on Twitter. We follow each other. I'd love to get him on the podcast. I'm not sure if he'd come on, but he's great. He's got good takes. Yeah, so it's clearly a very good film, but it didn't really work for me. I didn't love it. It's clearly good, but you know, there was a battle sequence in the first act or first half of the film that was superb. There's an actor in it called Timothy Carey who I'd never heard of. He was great. He played one of the soldiers that got accused of the crime of cowardice. Yeah, it kind of reminded me of Thin Red Line, which is good. I think I just need to rewatch it because I don't think I was in the correct frame of mind to fully appreciate it. But yeah, the last film I watched was called Sharktopus. Now, I'm not sure if this is on this podcast or not, but me and my mum have a tradition in that every birthday or Christmas or whatever, I buy her a film, specifically a film like a shit film that would have been on the Sci-Fi Channel. My mum loves the Sci-Fi
Like a
Channel
shit
thing.
film that Veronica would have watched
Yeah,
at some
absolutely.
point.
So one of them that I'm yet to watch, but I bought so the first one I bought was Atomic Shark, the shark that's got nuclear something. But this one we watched was called Sharktopus, in which the government bred a shark with an octopus, and it got loose and started killing people. It's really truly awful. I gave it a 1 out of 5, but it was entertaining at points. There's an actor in it called Ralph Garman who plays like a pirate radio host. He's so funny. He was in 2 scenes, but his timing and his
Get him on
delivery
the
was.
podcast.
I'm gonna reach out and try and get him on because he was so fucking good in this film. There was a line where he went like, "Oh my," he had like this like. By the way, all the women are in bikinis constantly. There's just like loads of like zoomed in shots of asses, which I did appreciate. I watched this with my mum as well because it's a shared experience. There's a scene where he goes, "We're being told by the lifeguards that there's some kind of shark octopus hybrid. That sounds like a movie. What are they going to call it? Like Sharktopus?" And it got the biggest laugh out of me. That's not the exact line, but it's words to those effect. Yeah, it's just like such a stupid, cheesy, awful
What are
film.
we? Some sort of Suicide
Yeah.
Squad?
What are we? Some kind of Sharktopus? And there's Julia Roberts' brother is in it, Eric Roberts, who has the most, I believe he has the most film credits of any actor. He's got, I think it's something like 607 film credits. He's just in loads of B movies. But it's really funny because he plays the
But
whole film
not the B
completely.
movie.
No, not the B. Yeah, it's one of the only films he's not in. No, he plays it. He plays the entire film completely straight, like he's in some kind of like series. It's
He's the
so
straight
funny.
man.
Yeah, yeah. He does kind of give off like campy energy though a little bit. Yeah. Anyway, that
I
was
meant
the
it in an improv way. What?
So did I. What are you on about?
Oh.
Yeah, camp comedy. Yeah, come on, guys. Yeah, that's all the films I watched. Veronica, I believe you have a story about a
Yeah, I do.
letterbox comment you received.
And I just remembered it when you mentioned Letterboxd, so this is quite funny. I got a hate comment on Letterboxd. And Letterboxd isn't even a social media platform. Like, it's just for personal use to log films, okay? But I got a hate comment on my Letterboxd review of a horror film called Black Christmas from 1974. I don't know if you've heard of it, but anyway, I didn't like it, okay? And
When did
okay,
you
my
watch
review
this
was.
film?
I watched it like last year in December.
Oh, so it's one of them where someone goes through the reviews and attacks it.
Yes, yes. So basically, I was quite mean in my review. I gave it half a star, and I said, "Old horror films are so boring and not scary," and I put loads of Zs. Okay, which that is quite disrespectful. But listen, this is my review. I didn't like it. Whatever, get over it. This guy commented and said, "Boring how? Laughing face? Question mark. Just because it doesn't have over edited jump scares every 2 minutes doesn't mean it's boring. The movie was very well made, and the atmosphere was built up evenly during the movie. Gen Z child. That was a comment I got, which I want to reply to it, okay, by saying if it was that good and it was just because of my attention span and me being a Gen Z child, then why did I love the thing, huh?
In
Yeah.
comparison,
Maybe
what
Black
comes to
Christmas
mind?
was just not good. Maybe I just didn't like it. Maybe it wasn't about attention. Maybe it was just bad. And also, I don't like horror films with jump scares. That was literally like the worst type of horror film for me.
And the
Fuck
important thing
off.
is, right, the important thing is that comment hasn't rattled Veronica. That's the
Yeah,
important thing.
I just let it
And
wash over me.
I had a really nice letterbox comment, well, sort of nice, on my Punch Drunk Love review by Manav Sandhu, who says, I can forgive any past or future Hancock's hot take as seen on Juffin because of this review right here, in which I really praise Punch Drunk Love because it's the greatest film ever made. So, we're all winning here. But, Veronica, before we go,
Mm-hmm.
do you have any upcoming films you're seeing in
Yes,
cinema?
and I'll go through it really quickly. I have 2 films left at London Film Festival on Sunday. I'll be seeing Grand Theft Hamlet Sunday morning at the BFI IMAX, which is the biggest IMAX screen in the UK. I'm very excited. This is literally a recreation of Hamlet in GTA 5. And I'm going to be seeing
I've
it
seen
on the
this.
biggest. Wait, no
I've
way.
seen
Okay,
this.
but
No,
don't.
no,
Okay, don't spoil it.
I've seen the vibe. No, no, I've seen the film. I've not seen the
Oh,
film.
okay.
As in,
But it seems
I've
really
seen it
fun
about it. Yeah.
and experimental and whatever. So I'm really excited for that. Then in the evening, my last London Film Festival film. Aww. Oh no. In the evening on Sunday, I will be at the closing gala of the festival. I will be there to see Piece by Piece, which is that Pharrell Williams Lego movie. I don't know if anyone's seen stuff about it. There's
That
been like
looks
little
right,
scenes. It actually looks quite fun. So I'm kind of excited to see it because there's a lot of guest appearances. I saw Kendrick Lamar, Gwen
And
Stefani.
Stefani. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen those little like screenshots on Twitter, so I'm excited to see it, actually, and I hope he shows up. He'll probably show up. Um, and actually, I booked a ticket today for my third film on Sunday because Sunday I have a day off and I'm trying to see everything. Basically, because one of them's in the morning and one of them's at night, I thought like, what's the point of me taking an hour one way to go home and then come back to the Royal Festival Hall to watch these films when I can just watch another film in between at the Picture House. And guess what they're showing in between those films at the Picture House on Sunday? They're showing one of your
What?
favorite films.
What?
They're
Can you
showing
tell me?
one of your favorite films, Little Miss Sunshine,
Oh
at
my
2
God.
p.m.
When is this?
on Sunday.
You said, oh, I'm working.
Yeah, and
I would have
so I'll be
been
seeing that in my
tempted.
cinema in
Have
between those 2 films
you
because
seen it
it's
before?
it's no, and it's
It's
part of
so
Film
great.
Club.
It's so great.
Anyone who has a Picture House membership, this should be all over the UK, I think. But they are showing like Searchlight films, it's like films that were produced by Searchlight or distributed by Searchlight, and they're £1 per ticket for members. So I'm paying £1 to go watch Little Miss Sunshine at the theater. So
Can I just say, um, I really hope you
if I
love
don't
it.
like it, you'll kill me.
Yeah, just go into it expecting just loveliness. It's so lovely. Um, the granddad, by the way, is one of my favorite ever performances. So enjoy
All
that.
right, but just say like next week I will be traveling quite a lot, so I won't be at the cinema, but I will try and watch films on my laptop or at hotels and stuff.
Now, before we love you and leave you, I've got one piece of film news to share because it close to my heart. Well, not close to my heart. Actually, yes, it is. Let's be honest. Ryan Gosling is filming his next film, Project Hail Mary, directed by I want to say Lord and Miller, I think. And turns out I was tipped off about this kind of midway through last week. Um, he's actually filming in Portsmouth, my hometown of Portsmouth, which I can almost see from where I'm sat right now. Um, they were filming in the historic dockyard on one of the old ships that was being obviously old and not used, and then they moved to on the Sunday, so last Sunday, they were filming on South Parade Pier at the end. Um, and I was very tempted to go and scope it out and see if I could see him, but I didn't go in the end. But there was a video that came out of him leaving South Parade Pier in Southsea, Portsmouth, in a yellow coat, and it's very surreal seeing. So I've seen every Ryan Gosling film apart from two. The only ones I've not seen are Murder by Numbers and United States of Leland. But it's very surreal seeing one of your favorite actors just in Portsmouth. It feels like those two things shouldn't link. But anyway, that officially takes us to the end of another episode, a bumper episode, probably. We discussed everything we've watched recently. I think we should probably do this more often because I've really enjoyed this kind of format.
Yeah, so we're gonna have to skip weeks more often than is what you're saying.
Sure. Yes, we'll let down your mum on a consistent basis. Anyway, talking about that, not letting us down. Who didn't let us down? Ben Bowman didn't let us down. If you missed us, go back and listen to last week's episode with Ben Bowman. It's potentially my favorite episode we've ever done. It's great. And make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on Twitter/X, Floodlights Pod on both. Weronika, it's been an absolute pleasure as always. Can you let the people know where and how they can get in contact with us?
Yes, so we of course have an email, floodlightpod@gmail.com. Send us your comments or just comment on our letterbox profiles because apparently we read all of them and we get offended by them and also love them. So if you want to go look at our reviews and comment bad things, I will probably mention it next episode. Actually, don't comment bad things.
Or do.
Comment good things.
Funny. If it's funny, you can comment bad things. If it's just
Yeah.
horrible, then don't do that. Unless you do it to Weronika, then I don't give a shit.
Yeah, or DM us on Twitter, Hancock Analysis.
I won't respond.
Weronika_K9. HMV, please sponsor me. I mean us. I mean us.
No, yeah.
I mean us. HMV UK, Mubi UK, BFI, Picture House,
ITV.
Yeah, BBC. Anyone.
Channel 4 movies. 4 movies. Film
4. Film 4. Yeah.
Anyway, right. Let's wrap it up. Right. Let's get this fucking show off the road. We'll be back next week. Maybe with a guest, maybe not. We'll see. As we had a lovely time chat with Ben last week. Make sure you drop him a follow on Twitter/X, YouTube, and TikTok. Until next time, keep watching and keep consuming. And adios.